Welcome to the 2019 State of the City. Many thanks to the Sherwood Chamber of Commerce and our Sherwood Police Department for hosting this. Thanks to Joe and Kelsey and others for helping with this presentation. A couple shout outs. My predecessor, Mayor Lee Weislogel. It's good to have you here this morning. City Councilors Renee, Tim, and Kim. Great to see you here this morning. Tigard Council President John Goodhouse. Appreciate you being here this morning. Hillsborough Mayor Steve Calloway. Thanks for being here. Our very own County Commissioner Roy Rogers. Thank you for being here this morning. In short, the state of the city is good. Questions? Lots of good stuff happening in Sherwood. A bit of bad and a really ugly challenge. We have a great team of city councilors that work well together, cohesive and professional. I am grateful. It is a pleasure working with each and every one of them. We are helped by a great group of community volunteers that serve on our various city boards and commissions that give recommendations to the city council. We are also fortunate to have an outstanding city staff. They work hard for the families and businesses of Sherwood, and I'm very grateful. Last year, the city council met, well, last year and this year, we met in goal setting and resulted in a clear mission statement and core values to help drive the city business and our operations. We're re-engaged with our many partners at all levels of government. Last week I was back in DC advocating with our federal partners about possible funding for important city priorities. We're working hard in advocating in Salem from through the League of Oregon Cities and direct with our representatives at various bills that are good and bad potentially for our community. And we're re-engaged and working hand in hand with our school district and the important projects that they're doing in our community with our community resources. Non-residential development, the City Council believes, and our community believes, is critical to help balance our city tax base to help pay for the services that our citizens enjoy. Significant commercial development is occurring around town, including our first hotel that people said would never happen, the New Hampton Inn that will be opening later this year. We even have interest in maybe other hotels coming to town. A new mixed-use development just across the road, this mixed-use development in Old Town, the first new private mixed-use project in Old Town in more than 10 years, which is very exciting. The new Cedar Creek Plaza development across the street around Providence with multiple new businesses. Another example is the big building that is just really big, the Langer Entertainment Center over near Walmart. I don't know all the details, but some people describe it as like a Big Al's on steroids. So I think the families in our community and our neighbors will really enjoy that. Industrial development is also quite busy with over a dozen buildings coming online, almost 1 million square feet. That is tremendous for our community. Some examples: the Sherwood Commercial Center on Olds, development on Oregon Street. We have over 300 acres in the Tonkin employment area that's getting a lot of interest. This shows the entire Tonkin employment area between Sherwood and Tualatin, but it is just on the Sherwood side. If we don't control development, but we advocate, it has a potential of 2,000 jobs, tremendous tax base to help pay for services, tremendous opportunity for people to live and work more in Sherwood. right across the street, just Tualatin and Sherwood Road. Here's an example of 3 industrial buildings they're going to break ground this year at the corner of Tualatin and Sherwood Road and Sipole. And then not counting in those dozen buildings, is a preliminary plan for the first part of what's going to be built in the Tonkin employment area. The potential of 6 large industrial buildings, 6, 7, 800,000 square feet. So that's all a great development start in our community. Residential, residential development is happening in Sherwood. It's not as fast as some of our neighbors north of us, like in Tigard or Beaverton, or certainly the South Hillsborough project, which is just ready to explode. But it includes new senior housing at the Ackerley across the street. As an example, the near completion of the Mandel Farms subdivision near the Ridge campus. In Old Town, we have townhomes, the Oregon Street Townhome Project. We have the massive expansion of the Springs Adult Living Center in Old Town. So lots of things happening, and 140, 150 homes south of town and along Brookman is on the horizon. And then there's school development. This little project that you might have seen with a brand new high school. On schedule, on budget. Under budget. Now there's some news. Under budget and ready to be moved into fall of 2020. Transportation, as we all know, transportation is a challenge, not just for Sherwood, but in our entire region. But help is on the way after a little bit of pain. With the help of our partners with Washington County, we've got a number of projects that are about to start. The one that just was finished, though, was the opening of the 124th Avenue extension. It really helps to open up the Tonkin employment area and make a really important connection between Sherwood, Tualatin, Wilsonville, and I-5. Starting in a couple months, various road improvements by that building being built, that new awesome high school, will begin. And it will cause some challenges for us getting around town, so to be aware of. Various road improvements adjacent to the high school, including a new roundabout, improved intersection located on Highway 99, Elwert, and Sunset. And then finally, beginning in January of 2020, the first phase of the widening of Roy Rogers Tualatin Sherwood Road between Borchers and Langer's Farm will begin. Then in late 2021 through 23, the other portions of Roy Rogers and Tualatin Sherwood Road will be widened. Eventually, this major road will be 5 lanes from Tualatin through our entire city to the northern city limits. And it'll be a little bit of pain while that occurs, of course, with road construction. But these projects take time. Delays happen. We think we're past those delay points. In fact, each of these was originally approved 6-7 years ago, and it's great that they're happening, and we all wish they could be finished tomorrow. So Roy will see what he can do to speed up the timeline. Recreation. There's lots of things happening for our families in our community, starting with the new skate park adjacent to the YMCA. It just broke ground. Thanks to a large state grant, this project should be completed by the end of the summer. We are also beginning to develop plans to potentially expand our city-owned rec center that has been operated by the YMCA to include hopefully a 6-lane pool, some more programming space, and other amenities for the community. I apologize. Also this year, the Cedar Creek Trail will start construction. So that goes from Old Town to 99. And we've been working on that a long time. That's being paid for by a federal grant administered through Metro. So I know that's been in the works for a long time, and it's great to be happening. The city's also engaged in spending a lot of money, because it costs a lot of money, in looking out over a longer time frame and updating our 20-year comprehensive plan so we can help ensure that Sherwood remains a great place to live, work, and play. You've probably heard this before, but if you haven't, the one we're updating or replacing goes back to 1990, Julia? 1990, just a day or two ago. One of the attributes that we are very proud of in our community is our consistent top ranking in terms of being a safe city in Oregon. Although we dropped to number 2, safest city in Oregon recently, we need to continue to invest in our police department in terms of staffing. City Council is determined to meet the needs of our PD and add more than 6 officers and staff in the next few years. Members of the Chamber of Commerce have heard this, but for those that haven't, calls for service continue to increase, and our ability to be proactive as a police department with community policing is more and more restricted due to the staffing needs. We also keep focus on our officers' mental and spiritual well-being, and that of victims in our community of crime. As a result of Chief Groth's leadership, we have Police Chaplain Wilson Parrish, and have developed innovative programs like our Comfort Canine program with Mila, who many of you have met, which is already paying dividends in many ways. Mila was funded by the community through donations to the Sherwood Police Foundation. One example that was shared just recently was we had a victim who was very reluctant to give a statement about abuse. Came into the PD the day after the event, and it was a struggle. But after a few minutes, just randomly walking through the PD, Mila walked in, put her head on the victim's lap, and our police officer was explaining why Mila was there, and before you knew it, the victim made the statement, it really works, and was able to give a statement to help address her challenge. So little things like that of both helping the community and helping our officers is very important. I want to thank and acknowledge all various nonprofit foundations that support city programs and facilities. We could not do all that we do with police, arts, library, and the senior center if we didn't have their support. 2 upcoming events that you can attend, if there's any tickets left, to help these nonprofit groups are the Arts Center Gala in late April and the Police Foundation Gala in May. And they're a lot of fun. In a nod to the bad, so that's a lot of the good highlights. Now a little bit of the nod to the bad. Our legislature is in session in Salem. And as always, it seems that we once again are playing defense on a number of different fronts, especially in terms of local control, housing mandates, and land use laws. As most of you know, but to repeat it, government is like a ladder. The federal government is at the top, city government is at the bottom, everyone else is in between. Cities hope government's higher up. The latter pass laws and taxes and things that help cities and families that live there. I like to think of it as throwing down roses when they're good laws. Sherwood and all cities work hard for this type of result. However, cities also get hit by rocks that fall on us from those governments higher up the ladder with bad laws or taxes that negatively impact cities and our families. Now, for the ugly. PERS is a statewide problem that we are dealing with throughout Oregon. We hear a lot about it with our schools. It is a big deal for our classrooms, but it is also a tremendous issue for local government, cities, counties, and others. Just in the last year, the unfunded liability changed that much. $4 billion more in unfunded liability, and that much more per household or per public employee. But what does that mean for Sherwood? PERS costs continue to rise at an alarming and unsustainable rate. Tripling in this 10-year period if something is not done to address the issue. Back in 2012, I thought the PERS problem was pretty bad. That was nothing. This time last year, Sherwood planned responsibly for higher PERS costs this year. But the estimates were wrong, very wrong. And turns out Sherwood must pay an additional $800,000 in PERS costs. That's just straight from the general fund. Then, probably that level of increase in another 2 years. That's just Sherwood, an example. It's insane. Imagine what we as a city could do with that $2+ million in the year 2024 if it wasn't sent to PERS. So we're hoping that our folks in Salem will work on this issue and not punt it down the road, but we will see. So, sorry to end on a little bit of a downer, but it's just the space we're in. We're committed to through economic development, efficiencies in the city, to address our problems in a responsible manner that we believe you would want us to take, but it will be a challenge. We have police needs, PERS expense, other challenges as well. So, questions? Yeah, Gary?
Where are we at on Metro's housing density issue in Sherwood?
So there are with development, you have in zoning, you have density targets, and we are complying with the law. And we do not have the Sherwood West expansion because we said we didn't want it this go around. So we don't have new areas that we need to master plan at a different density level. As part of the comprehensive plan update, we will be looking at all of our zoning in the community to see what changes could or should be made, not just in residential, but also in industrial and commercial. The state has several bills that they're considering to impact residential zoning. And we'll see what happens with those, and we will comply with the law. One bill, it got gutted and stuffed with different language, and in essence says any single family residential zoning, you need to be allow developers to make it duplexes, triplexes, or quads. Another bill says that in any TriMet transit corridor that has a certain level of service, the zoning automatically goes through the roof. But we don't know what if anything will pass in Salem. Other questions? Oh, I know there's questions. Kate?
I know. I haven't done a very good job at heckling.
She literally, before the meeting, she came up, she goes, I'm in the front row. I'm the designated heckler. We are an easy crowd. Well, thank you so much. Oh, yes? Well, if you want to ask me after, I'll stick around. But thank you for being here today. We are blessed to be in a fantastic community that everyone cares about each other and our neighbors, and truly blessed. Thank you very much.